first ever vlog. But yeah, we are officially 5 days out from the photo shoot, which is kind of mad, actually, to be honest, to say the least. But I was actually talking to one of my friends earlier on, and she was like, "How are you feeling for it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel actually not too bad. I feel like I put in a lot of work. That's the thing as well. I was like, I've put in a lot of work into this, but it's that curse of competence and, you know, never actually feeling like you've earned what you've done, which is mad because you're always looking for something better, I think, in this kind of game. And I think that's kind of natural with the mindset that I've got. You're always striving for better, you're always striving for more, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. Because realistically, you're never going to be happy with what you have. And the thing is like, as much as like I know that I am feeling a lot like better, a lot more comfortable in my own skin, and just overall feeling like I'm in better shape, I was like, I've already started going, oh, I wish I could be leaner, I wish I could feel like this, I wish I could feel like that. And the thing is like, I know that realistically it's just not the case. Like, I know I'm already lean, I know there's like a bit of a body dysmorphia playing in, I know that like the sacrifices that I've made already, I've not really left a stone unturned. And that's the thing I guess you can take like with most things, I guess, as well, as like, as if you're putting in the work, you're putting in all the effort, sometimes you might not always get exactly what you need or want, but you'll get the result that you are meant to get. And that can be quite hard to take sometimes, and I think that's just a harsh reality of life. Of you can put in all this effort, you can try so hard, and sometimes you just don't get what you always want, and sometimes you just need to work harder. But I like that aspect of, well, you need to try more, which is normal, right? We all strive to be better, we all strive to, you know, go after things, whether it be money, career, relationships, like whatever, promotions, I don't know, like it could be totally dependent like on that person, whatever it is, but we all strive for things that are just going to make us be better, and we always do that. We always look for the better thing, that new shiny object, and sometimes when you get there you're like, fucking hell, like that's took so much more work than I thought. And that's kind of what it's like been like for this. And the thing is like, I would never, like, you know, push someone away from this. I think these things teach you a lot, and the fact that you've got to make, you know, calculated, educated choices to do these things that push you in a comfort, like out your comfort zone, and a discomfort that you don't actually understand about yourself probably sometimes. It's a weird one. People always go, oh, you know, it's like growth comes from discomfort. People talk about it a lot, right? People talk about it a lot, and like, even as like, you know, you see it on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you go, like these guys who say that like growth comes from discomfort, how many of them are actually doing things that are like that extreme or that difficult, like to what they're usually doing? Probably not very. Like, most people just go to the gym, lift some weights, and they might train pretty hard, but if really is it that difficult? Honestly, not as nicely possible, not really. Not, you know, discrediting even like people that like go to the gym day in, day out. I would say that's more resilience, and that's the difficult part, is going to the gym day in, day out, doing these things day in, day out. That is hard in a sense, but if you're taken to the extremes, that's where the real growth comes from, because that's day in, day out work is like step one of effectively a bigger ladder that's coming, because at some point down the line you want more, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I originally start going to the gym and you want to get leaner, you want to get stronger, you want to feel fitter, that is uncomfortable and it makes you grow. That is uncomfortable, it makes you grow, it makes you go and become a new person, it makes you go and change your outlook on life, food, whatever it is. That is uncomfortable, but those levels of discomfort just keep rising. They just keep getting further and further away, and you keep searching for new extremes. But those new extremes teach you each and every single time something new about you. Like, you learn something mentally, physically, your capabilities, that you are completely different to like what you once were, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the guys who are top of the game, like these top level athletes, Olympic athletes as well, they often aren't even separated by that much between them. I mean, take the sprinters for examples. Sure, like, you'll get these generational talents like Usain Bolt that come along, Johan Blake, Michael Johnson, all them that come along, even like in like different forms of sports as well. Like, you'll get like your Michael Jordan, Lionel Messi. These guys stand out because they're such an anomaly. Like, they will come along. But if you look at the top athletes, like even like you say the Premier League and stuff like that, these guys that win like championships and stuff, or even like sprinters, often a lot of the time is there's not really a lot to separate them in terms of like skill levels. But what often separates them is their mindset, and that is where they start to learn a lot more about themselves. They're doing things that are maybe a bit more extreme, but a lot of the time it's not the extremes in the physicalities, it's the extremes in the mentalities. And people don't realise that, like, you need that level of discomfort each and every single time, which is why I say to people, like, you know, like, push these things, go do these things, go do a photo shoot, go do a bodybuilding stage, go try a high rocks, go try something that's just not comfortable to your level. But people constantly ask, like, why when you know what you're doing, do you look for more? And it's just that simple reason of you can't stay stagnant, I believe, personally. That's just my own opinion. But if you're staying stagnant, you're never going to change. If you're not willing to even have that bit of discomfort, you're never going to grow. And if you're never going to grow, you're never going to change either. And that doesn't just apply for, like, you know, just the gym. It goes for everything. There's going to be very uncomfortable conversations you need to have with, like, people in work, friends, family, relationships. Like I said, these things don't just apply to coaching. It's very much like you take one thing, it has the same parameters, but it's applied in a different principle or a situation. People don't realise that. Like, it teaches you so much more about, like, yourself than you realise. And the thing is like, when you push your mindset, you push your mind mentally to do things that you've maybe not done before, that is when you learn a lot more. And I learned a lot about myself this time round, even though I've done a good few diets and stuff like that, and I arguably would say I've been this lean before, but I've never felt this confident and this comfortable being this level of leanness, because the last time I'd done it, I felt terrible. I felt absolutely terrible. And this time round, I didn't lose things like my sex drive, I didn't lose like my like almost like my brain function. Like, there was no brain fog as much. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there was definitely times where I felt groggy, I felt tired, irritated. My friends, my family will all tell you that 100%. But with that being said, you learn to handle things the more you expose yourself to them as well. You need to do things more than once. It's that exposure therapy. People don't realise that. People always ask, how do you get better at this? How do you get better at that? And the saying goes, if the more you do it, the better you'll get. And the thing is, it's literally just exposure therapy. You keep turning up, and it leads back to that resilience thing as well, and that discipline. If you keep showing up, you keep doing it time and time again, you will get better at it, naturally. You will get more comfortable with it, naturally. There still will be more extremes in which you push certain things to do that will become uncomfortable. But for the most part, if you do it enough, you'll get used to it. Same like riding a bike, same like driving a car. If you do these things more and more regularly, you practice them, you do them, you're only going to get better. You're only going to get more skillful at them, you're only going to get better. Whether it's like literally doing like hours in the job, you're going to get better. You're not going to be good at anything you start. People have this like tendency, like, oh my god. A lot of people think that, you know, when you do these things, it's almost inspirational, and it can be. I do believe that is, and that's part of the reason why you want to do it, is to set an example and show that you can do it. But at the same time, most people don't realise that, look, nobody is different most of the time. It is genuinely just that mindset. And the thing is as well, like, people working with so many people, you come to realise that most people are generally the same. They come into the same struggles, they come into the same problems. It's very, very rare that you come across people who are generally, different, whether it be mindset or physicality. Physicality is a lot more prevalent, it's a lot more out there, because you can see it in, like, if it's like a game, if it's a sport, you can see it in like something that's a physique, and oftentimes you'll notice it quite quickly because it's visible to the eye. But internally and mentally, people often are the same, and that's the hardest part, I believe, to change for people when it comes to like coaching, when it comes to just general life. The mindset and the mind control is the hardest part of all, because the thing is that most people have the same capabilities to do the things that we do on a daily basis, but it's just completely different. People have the same mental capacity to diet. People have the same mental capacity to stick to a plan. They have the same mental capacity to, like, say no to decisions. They come down to like your own choices. They come down to your own kind of, everything's behind your own free will almost. And like, people always say that, and like, yes, like, there is obviously the other flip side of the coin where people talk about like temptation. I go on a night out, I can't say no. Again, they have the choice to do that. Is there more like psychological reasons behind that? Yes, but a lot of the time it comes back to the mindset up here. Like I said as well, like literally just a couple of minutes ago, what separates the top level athletes isn't often the physicality, it's usually the mentality. Like, it's that separates them. And that mentality then can lead into those physicality results, which then changes the game. But people don't realise that. It all starts up here first. And is that easy to do? Nah, probably not. I would say so. It's very much a skill that you can learn. It's something that I think is built over time. Resilience is very much the biggest thing. If you take everyone that is successful in life, this isn't just like gym, sports and all the rest of it, this is like genuine life. The top level guys do not stop. The top level guys do not stop whatsoever. Take your Bill Gates, take your Jeff Bezos, take your Elon Musk, Alex Hormozy. These guys will have been rejected a million times. They'll have been, hammered, shunned down, all sorts of different reasons, rejections, but the one thing that they all have is they just didn't stop. They believed in themselves. They have that level of resilience that just separates them from everyone else, and that is the difference. They have that trait of success. Like, you literally look at everyone, think of the most successful people you know, what do? They're relentless in their approach with things. Like, they're absolutely relentless. They just do not stop. So if you're thinking, like, a lot of the time, what am I doing differently? It's often your approach. And that's a quite a hard thing for people to wrap their head around. It's something that I only maybe wrapped my head around maybe about 4 years ago, kind of my early 20s, mid-20s. Is it easy to wrap your head around? No. I think some people never wrap their head around it, but if you can wrap your head around it as a young male, young female, when you've got more time on your side, you start to realise that you've got so much more behind you than you realise. And the thing is as well, is like, when you start understanding that, you'll start unlocking things that you don't even realise, whether it's like, career, gym, whatever. A lot of the things that we can do are very much within our control, and people forget that. And that's what separates success, I guess. Bit philosophical for Monday. Yeah, it's a bit philosophical for a Monday. But at the same time, it is very, very much true, and it's something that I just firmly believe in. I just think success, people look at it as very, very black and white. It kind of annoys me, I guess, in a sense. But people don't understand that success comes in many different forms, and sometimes it's just not always about the end result, it's about the process along the way. Like I said, those guys who run those multi-million, billion-dollar companies are often there through relentlessness. And sometimes, it's maybe not the best, but if they have a vision, if they have something to believe in, then a lot of the time they end up going after it and getting it what they want. I'm not saying that you need to go and start a multi-billion-dollar idea and expect it to pull off overnight, but I'm saying, like, if you're looking at yourself and you're thinking, this guy's really, really hitting home. I'm no different to what me speaking to you at this, over this camera is. There's absolutely zero difference. I'm a normal guy who has effectively a very normal job with a very normal life. I've got, a mum, sisters, I've got family and stuff, do you know what I mean? It's mental. But yeah, people don't realise that the difference is like very much up here. That being said, the traits of success are often something you can build over time. But yeah, that's pretty much how my time with the photo shoot has been going. I've learned a lot. And I won't be stopping, I guess, until, it's fully done. I'll probably make a full post on this. I'll probably talk about this a bit more. But hopefully people take a lot more from this than, it's just one of those ones. I don't think I'll be stopping. I don't know what my next adventure is. I don't know what my next, goal is. I think most people underestimate how goal-orientated we are. And sometimes it's very, very good, but sometimes it can be a bit detrimental. If you don't have some goals, it can be very mundane. You always usually have goals. If it's in work, if it's like in life, people usually have 5-year plans, 6-month plans. Set something, but don't forget to kind of live in the now, I guess, as well, which is a good thing. But yeah, that's about it.